Ukraine, I'm ready for you.
I have never identified myself as a person who would make an extra effort in order to help others, at least in a way that it would come truly from a genuine willingness to do so. Nevertheless, I've always been curious to understand the world, and last summer I visited Western Ukraine just out of curiosity. But instead of satisfying myself with some new insights about the war, something happened in me. I couldn't get these things out of my head anymore. I knew I had to do something. It was not enough to understand, but I had to be part of it. Some time passed and I traveled Europe living my life, but then I got an invitation. It was time to experience the war, personally.
The situation is not great. I'm at the border, but I'm not allowed to go into the country with my car.
I had to leave my car to the border and hitchhike 7 hours to Kyiv, where I would meet my contacts before I would be sent to Kharkiv, the city almost to the front lines. I guess I'll get used to this noise. The air raid sirens every night were an undeniable and surprisingly scary shadow of the war that I was about to experience. As I then started heading to the... Sorry about that. So, as I headed straight towards the war, I didn't recognize fear in my thoughts, but my body began to get increasingly tense and downright paralyzed as I started to realize what I had put myself into.
Welcome to Kharkiv. It's unbelievable how close to Russia I am right now.
Yeah, actually so close that if they're launching a missile, the air defense cannot really do anything. It's a direct hit.
Just heard an explosion. Oh, my heart is beating. This is freaking scary.
I'm not even lying when I'm saying this was hands down the most scary moment of my entire life. And I was just thinking, is it going to be like this, like every day?
And I had to do 6 weeks of this. I'm just thinking, these people who live here, this is their everyday life. That's freaking wrong. I'll try to think about something else.
I managed to sleep and get rid of the frightening feelings, but my body was still in shock as I headed to my workplace in the morning. I got introduced to our wonderful team, as well as to our task, which was to distribute food provided by United Nations to all the civilians still living within a buffer zone close to the front line in Kharkiv region. This meant that we would operate every day within the enemy artillery range, sometimes in the very vicinity of the front line. And while the work itself was simple, and the encounters with the people were so heartwarming, the sense of danger, the scars and the agony of war that I saw in every village penetrated my mind every single moment that I had time to think about them. Besides the work, I was somehow unable to do anything, petrified by processing all the information I was getting in, while the air raid sirens kept sounding every second hour and the missiles bombarded the city a couple times a week.
You just cannot not wake up to that. You heard that? That was the 6th one.
But thank God the human mind has an incredible ability to adapt to all kinds of situations. As I managed to create routines around work, food, exercise and sleep, the feeling of fear started to fade and everything started to feel manageable. Actually, I started to really enjoy my time with my team that did their best to entertain me also on our day offs. And we quickly became friends despite the language barrier.
Привет, bro. Привет.
Especially this one dude clicked with me. He didn't want to appear on the video, so let's call him Maxim. Maxim had a touching story. He lived in the city of Kupiansk when Russia invaded it in the beginning of the war. When the Ukrainian troops liberated the city 7 months later, he fled from his home to Kharkiv with his wife and his 6-year-old son. But his mother and grandmother still keep living in the city that is constantly shelled while the enemy is working hard to recapture it. And now, I was going to visit this city every week.
Хочется дома жить, скажи. Мы понимаем, что все уничтожено, все, что раньше работало, все предприятия, все мясокомбинат, молочка.
Ну, короче, нам часть сюда мы выдаем сразу, и часть ребята там сразу. Так, улица Зеленая. Улица Зеленая,
Здорово. Еще.
Школа.
Was школа? Так.
Стадион.
Stadion. Du gráti u fotboll?
Локомотив.
Lokomotiv.
It was very touching for me to see that even in the most unusual and unpleasant circumstances, the beauty in the people still remains. I mean, look at this cool old dude. Of course there's pain, but I saw also so much love and gratefulness.
До побачення. Будь ласка.
Yona,
Huh?
there were a lot of women.
Yeah, a lot of happy women.
A lot of happy women. Что ты наговорил?
One day we had a little cake party at a local home and it was such a controversial experience. People were laughing and having a good time, and simultaneously we were listening to a symphony of sirens and continuous bombings just 10-15 kilometers away. I felt that however evil things are happening, the beauty of life is always greater.
We're here in Hroza on the site of Russia's deadliest missile attack against Ukrainian population.
This village is located right next to the main road that we were driving every day. I also knew that I was in that exact village 2 weeks ago. On that day I posted a picture on Instagram, and apparently the sweet lady that gave me the coffee that is in my hand, she's also dead. I don't know what to say. From now on, we could see dozens and dozens of new graves as we passed by the graveyard literally every day. I felt so bad for it, but at the same time I realized that I have experienced nothing of the extent of the pain so many people have gone through as they've lost their loved ones, health and livelihood. Realizing the depth of this injustice is not easy when you're not personally in the middle of it. Even the city has done a good job fixing a lot of infrastructure that was destroyed. Still, a lot of destruction can be seen almost everywhere. But like one Polish volunteer said, people talk about damage in infrastructure, in economy, but the real damage is in here. Traumatized children, soldiers with PTSD, and wives and moms waiting at home for no one to return. And I know you know all of this. Everybody knows. It's just that everybody who is not here, everybody will grow to some degree of ignorance and numbness. And that's normal because no one has emotional capability to care about all the turmoil that is happening all around the world. But if we do not recognize the fact that our completely normal lack of emotional response to a crisis does not remove the crisis from existing, that's when we are going to an unhealthy direction. I'm not saying that everybody should come here or put their life at danger. Obviously that wouldn't make any sense. But I'm just trying to say, let's not collectively forget that there are a lot of people that need help. A lot of injustice. And I just wish I knew how to do more. As you can see, I'm in a school gym. And it has truly become a matter of heart for me to help these people. And that's why I'm asking your help now as I'm launching my new project and fundraise that you can find in the description. Anyone who is donating more than 100 euros will be given a special thanks in a future video, and all of the money donated here to this project that you can read more in the description, I will bring personally here to the Frontline. Thank you for your help, and let's get back to the story. Before I realized, the weeks passed, trees changed colors, and the rain and cold arrived to tell that my time in Ukraine was coming to an end. But my heart wanted to stay. I knew that some part of me would refuse to leave. I was not going to be the same person anymore. Let's have a little honest moment. I have filmed charity many times in different countries before, and I've met people that have this kind of just devoted attitude in life of helping other people. Like, that's just what they do. And I have felt like, that's not really the way I am. I don't have that natural urge to help people or be generous. And I've also felt the pressure that I should be like that, because that's how good people are. And I have carried this guilt as long as I remember. But now in the people's life in here, I had encountered something so deeply meaningful and beautiful that it truly changed me. I cannot explain that, but somehow I'm just finding myself spending money from my pockets for other people's good and charity, thinking of ways how I could collect donations or what could I do, just thinking differently, not out of guilt, but because it somehow comes naturally. There's one more thing that we need to do before I go. I had decided to give a little gift to Maxi. I don't know, it just felt right.
Ooh. Is coming?
Да.
I wanted to give him all the cash that I still had with me. It was not much, worth of around 100 euros, but I had the desire to show that I care.
О,
У мене є подарунок
мені?
до ваша сім'я. Руки. Будь ласка, бро.
А на що мені гроші?
Що,
До
гроші тебе?
ваша сім'я.
Да, зараз.
Добре, друг.
Дякую.
Будь ласка, бро. До побачення.
Давай. Здоров'я.
До побачення.
I had to go home because my life was waiting for me. Life that, after all of this, didn't feel particularly meaningful. Even on my way back, I still met unbelievably amazing people, and it's safe to say that I completely fell in love with this nation, and it was not easy to go. I'm out of Ukraine, and to be honest, it feels very weird. Like I was dreaming and now I just woke up back to reality. But that's also reality. So there's a link in the description where you can donate money and support Ukraine. I kind of want to go back.